Hail them.
Hailing frequencies open, sir.
Hailing frequencies. Open.
I don't know why I keep giving alien street food a chance. It's always such a gamble.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen.
Hello, and welcome to another Hailing Frequencies Open podcast where we continue to trek through the past and future of Star Trek. And in honor of today's guest, I just chugged a whole cup of coffee. I'm your host, Mike Jones. And joining me on the call tonight, he's in the market for a good 7 of 9 wig. It's Damien.
Yeah, I couldn't make it happen with my real hair. So
You
now that we have
could.
well, it didn't work.
But now that you
it
cut
didn't
your
work.
hair.
Now that we have like a wig specialist, we're going to talk about it. And I did cut my hair, yes. So
And she's sitting under a giant sonic hairdryer in Mr. Mott's salon right now on deck 12, so we might have trouble hearing her. It's Lanita.
Hello. And I'm gonna call boo hiss rotten tomato, Mr. Damien. You could have easily done 7 of 9, but you decided to chop off those luscious, fabulous locks. So now you have to get a wig. Boo.
Now you gotta get a wig.
now I'm going for a Tasha Yar look.
You could maybe pull off like a 7 of 9 like French twist looking thing, but it wouldn't be, it doesn't have to be
thick.
Well, the takeaway from all of this is that I need help. So, and I feel like I feel like we have expertise in the room.
All right, let's not delay anymore. Let's get to our guest. We've discovered tonight's special guest through her hysterically funny, now famous and viral video where she mimes the vintage Lauren Bacall coffee ad, you know the one, and reinterprets it as everybody's favorite coffee guzzling Starfleet captain. Friends, founders, and Ferengis, please welcome the one and only Anna Rozay.
Hello. Look at this dark, rich color.
Mm. Around here, we
So
don't like
happy to be
Star
here
Trek.
with you
We
guys.
love it.
Yes.
Welcome,
And Damien,
welcome.
we're gonna get this wig together for you. We're gonna
Well,
figure it out.
it's true because I did. I mean, my hair. I can't now remember how long it was. So in retelling, it was like down to here, kind of.
Oh wow.
Right?
Did it
No.
cover your nips?
No, it was right to the top of the yes. That is where
It was about this long.
Mhm.
I love how she
Yes.
remembers your hair more than you do.
Well, it's funny because I remember it sort of more dramatically than it really happened. But I definitely had the idea. I was like, it was long for a long time. And then I was like, I'm going to cut it next month. I'm going to cut it next month. And then Mike and I had plans to go to this convention. I was like, we need a 7 of 9 cosplay moment, full mustache and everything. And I put a little curl in my hair to get this sort of like Picard season 3 kind of wave happening. And I'll text you the picture later. It kind of fell
Okay.
out. It was a little stringy looking. It was not.
Oh no.
It was not cute, but everybody understood who I was.
They got
except
it.
for Garrett
Yeah.
Wong. Garrett Wong didn't understand who I was.
The one you would hope he would get it.
No, we learned this.
You
They
would
don't
think.
watch the show. They don't
Yeah,
watch
he
the
hasn't
show.
watched Picard. He was like, "Oh, you're doing like a 7 of 9 Janeway matchup." It's like, no,
Well, I mean, Picard is dodgy at best, but
that's true. That second season,
that third season even. The quality
Hot take.
was
Oh my
It was all
God!
over the place.
Already out of the gate. Already.
Yeah.
out of
Hot
the gate.
take.
Like,
Oh, I'll give you my
take.
hot takes. I'll give them hot on a platter, baby.
Yes, love it.
Hot on a platter. Fresh out the oven
Throw
for
the
you.
flames right out of the gate.
Okay. Ooh.
And because this is not a visual medium, we have to tell you that Mike and I are both in uniform. And I'm not going to lie, it was a little cooler in this room the last time I wore this uniform. So, I might sweat through it.
And you're not going to let them know that only you and Anna, you, Mike, in uniform. Me again. Nobody sent me the memo. Here I am, shore leave in my
Closer, Mark.
civil.
Anna, where did you get your uniform?
Basically Cosamart on eBay. I just go through their eBay store because it's what I choose. I don't know. I just ended up using the eBay store.
that's
It's
what I
actually
did.
pretty quick.
It's actually pretty quick.
Don't help
Yeah.
him. Don't help him tell me that I have not.
I'm gonna open your Google. Open your Google.
Open the Googs.
Open the Google.
Clickety click click.
Send you a link or 2 or 3.
But
So
the thing is, he has.
Oh.
Go ahead, James on.
yes.
We should just
So-
order it for you and send you a Venmo bill.
I mean, literally, I'm okay with that. I will
And
send you
listen,
that payment.
and we'll just contact your mother and we'll about the alterations that are not,
Yep.
because you can't have a Starfleet uniform without alterations.
Oh my
Correct.
God.
And the
Amen.
old lady
So
will
true.
do what will do
Yep.
what she has to do to make
So
sure that I
very
look
true. I don't think
right
I've
and
ordered
ready.
one uniform without having to take it in, cinch it here, add this, take out that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the part of the, that's the
Yeah.
24th century look, is that everything is like, smooth and fitted.
Mm-hmm. Demure.
Yes.
Very mindful.
Very mindful.
Oh my gosh. You know that
The
by the
word
time
of
we
the
release
moment.
this episode, everyone will have forgotten what that means.
Right? I'm surprised it's still going. Like, it still seems like it has traction. Like, it's still
Absolutely.
kicking.
I feel like it must have jumped the shark because the theater I work at, I won't say the name because this is me being bitchy, but on their Instagram, they were like, subscriptions available now. They're very demure. I was like, oh girl, we jumped the shark. Like, no, we're done.
Well, to piggyback off of that, the social media team, when I was at work last weekend at the theater I work at, they were doing demure for like their videos and stuff and having us do stuff. And I'm like, I'm scared to see those videos.
And I gotta say, I just came back from a certain homosexual island destination not too far from New York City, and it
The
was
Galapagos?
everywhere. And it was that, and everything was
The
brats.
Galapagos.
The Galapagos, yes.
Everything was brat.
Off the rails already. So Anna, I feel like most most of the Trek world, we discovered you through your Lauren
Crazy
Bacall
coffee.
video.
Mm-hmm.
How did you even get that idea? Like, how did you even that commercial? I looked it up, was 1984.
It's old. Yeah.
It's old. How did you even find it?
So it's funny that you say that because I feel like a lot of my content is always late on trends when I decide to actually do them. And the Lauren Bacall video was actually something that was kind of trending like last year or the year before I did it on TikTok. And so that's how it came to my attention. And then I was like, Janeway likes coffee. What can I do, soundbite wise? And I remembered that that was trending at some point, yanked that sound and just did it. And honestly, I had some concept of how I wanted to do the video. Like, I knew I wanted it to have the feel of a commercial, but just like as it went on, just got even more zany, like the popping in the window.
Oh my God, the popping in the window.
That was very like last minute. I was like, literally, we had filmed everything and I was doing it with my boyfriend. I was like, okay, how do I put a button on this that just like sends it real crazy? And I was like, I'm gonna just go outside and pop through the window, you know?
And was that the first of your like cosplay videos that kind of broke through?
Yeah, honestly, I feel because like this is not new for me. I think my biggest problem with a lot of working people when they're trying to like do internet stuff is the consistency because you're working, you're busy, especially if you're in theater. So I had been doing like Star Trek content and other kind of cosplay for a minute, but then I was like, I did Janeway as a Halloween costume that year. And then shortly after that, I was like, you know what? I had such an intense reaction when I went out from just like random gay people in the neighborhood. And that kind of spurred me to like, you know what? Maybe there's something here. I always knew Janeway was an iconic character, obviously, growing up with her. But I think it also made it more real for like also my friends because they saw the reaction that I got in this costume in real life. So I was like, you know what? Let's do something with this.
So you'd made the wig for that costume for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. But so you're out in the neighborhood, Chicago, as Janeway.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be people who were like, "Who the frick are you?"
Honestly, it was a lot more than I expected because you don't expect a lot of I guess it showed me how much nerd culture is just a part of gay culture too.
Mm.
How
Hmm.
they kind of sometimes go more hand in hand than you think they do. And I was getting like we walked to someone else's house before we went to the neighborhood, and people on the street were like, Janeway. If they didn't know Janeway's name, they were like, Star Trek.
Yeah.
And like when we got to the neighborhood, people were buying me drinks, coming up to me, saying, I love your costume. I love Janeway because it's like we all have that memory, that nostalgia, I feel like,
Yes.
of this character. And it just showed me like how iconic in gay culture Janeway is. Because we love strong women, so it makes
Hmm.
sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
No, it absolutely makes sense. What was your and we always start with this question. This is a Mike Jones ripoff question. Your meet cute with Star Trek. What was your way in? How did you become a fan?
So I think it was kind of a combination of my mom kind of like spurring my interest in sci-fi in general or specifically like it started with Star Wars, I feel like. And she just came to me. I remember I was in fifth grade and handed me the VHS unsolicited. I didn't know what Star Wars was. And then getting into that and then seeking out other things similar in that vein. I found Star Trek. I feel like it was one night we were at my grandmother's house and I just kind of separated myself and went into my grandmother's bedroom and TNG was on. And then I just got sucked in. And I remember as a kid and as a teenager, sometimes we would be at her house and I would just separate myself because I knew TNG was on. And then Voyager came out. And that was also the time that I had with my mom weekly as it was airing, that we would just watch it together. And I just loved it. One thing that I will say about Voyager and all the Star Trek shows growing up in the 90s, 2000s is the trailer for the next episode would always like sell you one version of the episode and you watch it and
Hmm.
you'd be like, well, where the hell? Where was
How'd they cut
Yes.
that? How'd
what?
they cut that?
Yes, like it'd
Yes.
be
Where was
completely
that
different.
episode?
You'd be like, okay. But yeah, that's kind of I feel like we all have a similar story to that. Watching it with our parent or what have you. But that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I don't know. Mike, did you ever watch with your parents? Was it ever?
Yeah, my dad's the one who got me into Star Trek originally. Yeah. But it's funny. I don't know that parents like, is that happening with the not the next generation, but like our current parents, like sitting their little Gen Alpha kids down and watching Star Trek, like,
Trying to.
Maybe
yeah,
It ain't
Prodigy
gonna happen.
kids.
Yeah, it's hard because here's the thing is that the kids today have every accessible
yeah,
form of entertainment,
That's
and if
true.
they don't like it, they can just change.
Yep.
Like the
right,
dictator's not watching 30 minutes of something because the
Hmm.
minute it's like not for me, swipe
Yeah.
something else,
The attention
you
span
know?
is not there.
right,
Oh, but it's
right.
attention span when it's something that you like, but trying to get them into something to
Yeah.
be like,
Right.
hey, you could like this. Like, I'm
Hmm.
telling you, like, this is going to be your jam. They're like, I'm all right on that. I
But
think
Mm.
I'm
like,
going to be alone.
don't you think some of these things are like a time and a place though, that sometimes you're not really, like I wonder if I had, watched because I came into it through the animated series and then TOS as a kid. Like if I had been 2 years younger or two years older, I
Mm-hmm.
might not have like been receptive to it as a
Hmm.
new thing at the way that, at the exact moment that I, sat down and was able to receive it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's the kismet of it all. Because
Yep.
like I honestly feel like maybe one day I will be sitting in the living room on the whatever app that is showing all of them and just like watching it at nauseum, and the dictator will come and be like, oh, what's this, and actually be like, oh, I'm interested, and then I'm like, gotcha. But until
Hmm.
that happens,
Right.
not.
Exactly.
And I'm like, the fact that y'all's parents watch it, no, I am the only I am a unicorn in my family. They don't understand where I came from or how I got to be how I got to be. They love me. Like let's be clear. My parental units love me to bits. They're like, Broadway, theater, what are we singing? Nerd shit? Huh? Potter, Trek? What words? What words are we saying? So
Who's this
I
alien?
wish. Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, I feel like my family will tell you. I mean, somehow my parents managed to absorb none of it, but my siblings will tell you, like, I know more about Star Trek than I ever should have on account of Damien. Yes.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it was literally just me. And like, don't come near me. I'm pausing the VCR to edit out the commercials.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the kids have no idea about VCRs and
Oh my
recording and the
God.
fact, and then transferring it to another tape, and that's why you paused it so that it could go and you could actually have it uninterrupted. Oh.
Mm-mm. I feel
Mhm.
like Prodigy is kind of like the great experiment in that of
Mm.
the Trek franchise trying to grab the next generation.
Hmm.
And
No, you
that
can speak
You know
freely.
how that
You,
went.
you, you, you can speak freely because let's be clear
the
that I was
right.
a forced to. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. I forced myself to watch it, and I was like, this isn't for me. This is definitely for kids. There are no characters that I can relate to. They're dumb. Why are you making these decisions? And then I'm like, oh, that's right. They're kids. They have no idea
Yeah.
actually how to be
Mm-hmm.
adults. And so when I
Mm-hmm.
reframed my thinking, I was like,
Exactly.
oh. And then I watched season
Yeah.
2. I was like, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I actually really liked season two a lot. I
Yeah.
was actually listening to your episode about season two earlier. Um, but I mean in the sense that like Paramount just kind of
Oh.
swept it under the rug. So we may get a season three, we may not, which is kind of unfortunate because the season two just was so leaps and bounds, just
Yes.
so much
Heads and
better.
tails above. Yep.
Yeah, not that season one was bad, but it just really enriched it so much more. And I just feel like it'd be such a shame to just leave these characters on such a cliffhanger and not do anything with them.
Oh, it
Because I
We
opened up
want
the
really,
more.
door for another
yeah,
season.
and
Yeah.
I feel like they missed an opportunity if they let the show go. Because one, Paramount has a problem with merchandising, and this show is a
Yes.
merchandising gold mine. They just don't know
Gold mine.
they just don't know how to do it. I still don't know if there's any morph merchandise out there,
Yes.
which is a big
See,
oversight. There is no merchandise for
that's
the Protostar itself.
Nope.
And apparently the numbers for this show, the first season was really good. So it was really just a money thing where they just were like,
Mm.
There's a tax break.
axe it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just unfortunate because I think they are trying to do things like this show and bring in that next generation. And I know a lot of parents were watching it with their kids, but you're not gonna sit down with your kids and watch Picard, season three. It's
Right.
just a little too intense. But I
hmm
think this show was right in the middle as far as like, you know, intensity and fun. So it's just a shame if it doesn't come back.
Now, with you being the person in the room here, physically representing the Janeway, you got to weigh
Hologram.
in. You got to weigh in. Like how was Janeway for you? And how was this Janeway for you? I should say these Janeways.
I
Right. The
liked it. I
Admiral or the
mean,
hologram?
yeah, both, I guess.
hmm
I really like the distinction between the two because you really felt like the hologram was like the spirit or essence of Janeway, but not the person. As far as like the Admiral, you knew that was her with all of her history, all of her experiences. Um, and Kate Mulgrew was just as great and effective as a voice actor as she was in person. So it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
really nice to see her back in that character. It was like she, never left.
Never
Like,
left.
yeah, it's like a second skin for her. So I love Janeway in all forms. Hologram, live action, Admiral, you
And are
know.
you a Janeway Chakotay shipper?
Oh,
Oh, oh, oh,
Hot take.
Oh,
Hot
oh,
take.
oh. Oh,
yes and no.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
because I understand Kate Mulgrew's stance when the show
Mm.
was being produced originally. I
Mhm.
understand, she's the first female captain to lead a series, and she doesn't want to be sexualized or have relationships with her subordinates. Other captains didn't really do that.
Wait,
Very,
pause.
very,
Do we think they would have done that if she hadn't
Yes,
objected? Because
I think so.
it sounds like that's what you're saying.
absolutely.
I think so because I feel like
Of
she said they were
course.
trying to. And she kept pushing, like rebuttaling it. But at the same time, like let's think about what that episode in season 2 of Voyager, um, what was it called? Where they're stuck on that planet, her and
Oh,
Chakotay.
New
he
Earth.
New Earth. He makes her a bathtub or whatever.
Yes, yes. So it's clearly they have the seeds for a romantic relationship, and the undertone is there, even on screen beyond that episode. But for whatever reason, I feel like Janeway is the one that on the side of things, kind of like tamping that down or putting up the like, we can only go so far with that. But in Prodigy, you saw like them trying to kind of like sprinkle a little dust on there, like, you
They
know.
threaded a needle.
Exactly. Like, this is for you, Janeway, Chakotay shippers. You know, she's putting her hand on his chest every time they interact, whether it was in the mirror universe or in real, the prime universe. So it was just like those subtle things. And I think that was for the Janeway Chakotay shippers. They never kissed. They never like had anything that was overtly romantic, which I think was the perfect amount of, the little spice they wanted to add. Because I think even me wanting to see that, I think it would have like turned me off. Cause it's just the moment has passed. So
but also is I feel like she's not the person to date a subordinate, right? Like think of like I feel like she respects rank, she respects the position, and she's like, I don't feel her as a character would have been like, oh, I'm cool with being the captain, you're my number one, and also you're my number
man.
one.
Yeah.
Like that just doesn't, because how do you honestly, and I mean, you think about all these other shows, how do you leave the bedroom in the bedroom and work at work? It's always going to bleed in where you're going to try to usurp authority because private, intimate things. She wasn't going for that.
No.
And of course they would have tried to do it because she's a woman. So how can she stand on her own? She needs a man. She needs someone to be able to pillow talk with, to get ideas, because she's not strong enough to do it on her own.
Yeah. And I really do, at the end of the day, appreciate that they didn't do that. As much as a part of me is like, like
the saucy part's like, oh, that would have been fun to see, just like
tantalizing.
Like, like a dream sequence, like everyone gets, but doesn't really happen, but like maybe
an alternate
you
reality.
get knocked out. It's not actually them in a conscious world somewhere else, like run along home, and that's how they have to get,
Yeah, I mean, and we even saw that in Prodigy in the mirror universe. You could clearly see through their interactions that they were horny for each other.
Oh yeah,
because everybody in the mirror universe is super horny.
No sexual morals in that universe.
No,
like for real. Chakotay had a goatee. He had his arms out. I was like, now wait a minute, I would be horny too. Come here, Chakotay. Let me see something. Let me see that. Give me some of that Coochie Moya, baby.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, I feel like the will they won't they kind of chemistry is more interesting on from a storytelling perspective. It's like on The Nanny when they finally got married.
Yes.
Yes.
It like wasn't like suddenly
fine.
It kind of ruined it. Yeah. It's like
Who's the
who's the
boss?
boss? Same thing. Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't really go there.
We are all old. Absolutely.
And I was like, speak for yourselves.
No, I'm getting up there too, baby.
Okay. Okay. What I really want to know about is this wig that you're wearing right now. Can you tell us?
Ooh,
yes.
It's good.
I mean,
it's really good.
I'm sorry.
Bonnet
Say that
steel.
one more time. I want to see the back again one more time.
Okay, let me see if I can turn around.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, it's literally perfect.
It is perfect, and it is what she had.
The back was. I was literally finishing this morning, because I ran out of hairspray. Then my camera died because I was recording it for a tutorial, and I was like, when I finally got to the bun part, because you have to do it in sections.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're not visual. Can you just like describe it, please?
Oh, okay. So basically,
listeners who aren't seeing the video,
the hairstyle that I ended up doing for today's episode is basically Janeway's standard bun of steel, but the variation I did was the more croissant or donut ring in the back. I
Mhm.
think that's more first season, second season. Just because I didn't want to put it into an intense bun because I do want to like do the half up, half down Janeway at some point. And I didn't want to make it too structurally difficult to take apart. But this wig, so I got this wig, I'm not gonna say where because it's not a commercial, but I got
From a
this
place
wig
that I get
from a
wigs.
place.
Mhm.
And it's a cosplay wig, so it's full of hair. And I should have chopped off a lot of it because baby, I was trying to put this ring in and I was like, this is so much hair.
Wait, can you explain I actually don't know the difference between a cosplay wig and like a fashion wig or a wig that you would see in
A
theater or like
fashion wig?
I
well, you
mean,
know, a life wig,
that
wig
is a
wig.
wig type. That is a wig type.
Good time.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry,
I get
Damien.
what you're saying, Damien. Like a fashion wig is
She
something
is
that
after me.
like
I can't do anything right.
Lanita, he disappointed you by not doing the seven hair right. So I understand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I'm just kidding. But a fashion wig is something that, like you get offline. It's like, something that you will wear day in, day out. And then
Right.
you have the wigs
A
that,
bus driver wig, as they.
yeah, and they could be synthetic. They usually are. Or you could get like a really nice human hair wig that you would install, et cetera, et cetera. But this is a cosplay wig, usually sold by a cosplay company. They're very thick, full of hair. Because a lot of cosplayers, what they like to do is just deconstruct the wig, take the hair out, glue it back on. I'm not doing all that.
Mm.
I'm a more natural hairstylist in the sense that like I'm gonna use the wig the way it comes and manipulate the hair like it's my head. But yeah, lace front in the front.
Hmm.
And so I
Can't
basically
clock
put it
that lace.
into, yeah, girl, I cut this back so far.
I'm telling you, it is.
I appreciate you. No, but I literally was like, we can cut this all the way back. But in the back, I basically did a French twist and then twisted it up and then put the front pieces back and then did the donut, pinned it, did a hair net because if I didn't do a hair net, all of this hair would
Mm.
just be all over the place. But yeah, that's the
Yeah.
process.
But you
And
started the wig that we saw first was the like
The
later
bob,
season,
yeah.
the
That's my
bob.
favorite. That's my favorite, Janeway. Because she kind of loosens up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She recognizes herself as the leader, obviously, but she also recognizes that she doesn't have to be stiff by the
so
time she's
tight.
wearing the bob. Yeah, exactly. So that's the bob. And I feel like there's a lot more iconic episodes with the bob, more so than the
Mm.
bun. Because I feel like Voyager kind of hits its stride once Seven comes on,
Yeah.
Oh
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's around the time when the bun comes out. I mean, the bob comes out.
Right.
Well, and
Do
it's
you think that
interesting.
was because they didn't want to have two people with this
This
similar
kind of like
hair?
updo, maybe,
Mm-hmm. Just, I
maybe.
mean,
Well,
just looking at
That
it
makes
like
I had
sense.
not even
holistically
thought of
as
that.
a
I had
That
not even
makes
thought of that. You're
sense.
probably
maybe.
right.
Because
Well,
visually, you put them together in all their scenes and they have the same hair, it just looks kind of like visually boring.
right.
And there was one episode where Janeway actually had Seven's hair,
Yes, the full. Yeah.
the French twist,
Hmm.
and it looked good, like it was done well. It just for me, it didn't suit Kate Mulgrew. It just made her
Right.
look very masculine.
Mm.
It's interesting though that the two '90s TNG spinoffs, right, have what season 4 captain hair transformation that
Mm-hmm.
comes with
Oh
like a
yeah.
character change, right? We got
Yeah.
bald Cisco was like a whole new
Hmm.
Cisco,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Bob
Right.
Janeway is a
Captain
different
Hawk.
Janeway, you know?
Goatee.
Hmm.
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Me and Lanita.
Mhm.
He I literally like
Give me some of
like
that
Damien.
jambalaya.
Well, maybe. But here's the thing: in another world, in my teenage years, when I had yet to become my queer self, I'd be like a little bit, but I can appreciate a handsome man because he
Uh,
is top tier,
mm-hmm.
chocolatey goodness. I
Mm-hmm.
Damien and I both will like put on Star Trek to like fall asleep as like white noise. Like
Yep.
after I watch
Same.
the thing that I want to watch, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently in Deep Space Nine territory.
Are you?
Um, I am having watched what I fell asleep to last night, which I'm gonna fall asleep again tonight. The episode where Jadzia does her meeting all of her people that are
Oh,
in
yeah.
her.
Oh, the
Facets.
Correct.
Jantara.
There's thank you. See,
Mm.
yeah. And so currently,
Where is Davy? Where's Davy? Get Davy on
Right?
the line.
He would never ask me the questions I knew answers to.
Oh no, of
That
course
was like
not.
a deep, specific. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I literally listened to it last night and still couldn't pull that to my
No,
brain.
could never. Could never.
The last thing I heard was Odo saying, "I'm glad that you feel that way because we've decided that I'm gonna stay. That we like who we've become." Curzon and Odo, I like who we've become, so we're gonna stay. And I just go off to sleep.
And
And then I
Odo
don't have
stays
it
Curzon
autoplay.
for the rest of the series. So that's
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
And then
the Tuvix of
Oh my
Deep Space
of it all.
Nine.
Yes. And luckily I do this when the plus one is already asleep, because when I would go to sleep first, it'd be like, you're playing an episode again. Like, I had to listen to that whole episode. You fell asleep 15 minutes in, and then I listened to it. So why do I have to listen to it again? It's like, because I didn't. I
Wow,
go
this is
to the
like a
part that
page from my
the
life.
part that I remember last, hit play, and then
Go to bed to sleep.
and go
Yes. Well, and
It's
it's funny
psychotic.
because Deep Space Nine is the one that any of the I can put any of them on to go to sleep, and my better half will come in and he will be happy it's on and be fine with it. And then if it's Deep Space Nine, he's like, this one.
Because it's heavy a lot.
But it's so soothing. Like, I don't know, there's something about Deep Space Nine and the tonality of the voices of the characters, aside from like Nog, who is the most annoying, just too much. He's fine, but like, no,
Aaron
thank you.
Eisenberg, may he rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Blessed be. I mean,
Blessed be.
listen.
You're talking about the character though.
I don't know about the person. He was annoying. I think it's very chill. I think it's everyone's very chill and sort of like there's high stakes, but no one's like screaming every 5 seconds about what's happening, and we're all gonna
Right. Because you can get with DS9, you can get an episode that's really intense, or you can get an episode where it's like, oh, they're just walking around the station having interpersonal,
Yes.
relationships and just talking about what's going on with them. And that can be very relaxing. And also like the hum of Deep Space Nine is so
Yes.
specific to like in versus like the TNG hum of the ship or the Voyager hum of the ship. The Deep Space Nine hum, I'm like, just so relaxing, so soothing. You feel like you're really there, So I get it. I get it. But like Damien, like you, I can like it doesn't matter really. I like if it's 90s Trek, that's going on at the end of the night.
Oh, same.
Not so much new Trek except for Lower Decks, because my boyfriend is obsessed with Lower Decks.
As he should
Oh my God,
be.
it's the best.
Lower Decks.
Yes.
I want to run
Yes.
into Infinium, and I know that it's not, but that is
I
the one where
know.
I'm like, I wish there was some. I know billionaires should fix other things like world hunger and poverty, but if someone could just inject like, here is X amount of cash.
Yeah.
Keep
This
going.
will take
Just
you
keep
for
going.
just give me 10 years.
Yes.
Just
It
give
could
me-
be the Simpsons of Star
The
Trek. It could
Simpsons of
just
Star
keep
Trek.
going.
Thank you.
Oh, totally.
Like for real. And it should. But I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but I feel like in some shape or form it may continue, but just under a different moniker or something like that. Because even when it came out, the trailer for the new season, Mariner even says, "This is not the end,"
Right.
Yeah.
So
the little
that made
nuggets
me
of
feel
things.
like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna do like streaming movies or call the series something else? Because how long can they call it Lower Decks when they've already
Right.
been promoted to like middle management?
Mhm.
So
Really, middle management? It's sort of
middle
like
management.
it's sort of like you're like you were front of house and now you're a supervisor. You still have senior soup, you still have manager, senior manager, director, senior director,
True.
VP. You've got many levels before you
Before
get
you
to
get,
Oh my God.
right, you're right.
to captain.
They still on the bottom.
They
Just
are on the
less
bottom for a
bottom.
while.
The bottom of the top.
Well, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago after the Comic-Con panels where they dropped all sorts of hints where whether it was wishful thinking or not, it was like, it was what the question was asked, will we get closure on these characters? No, we will not. There will be no closure. Mike McMahon kept saying, our final season on Paramount Plus. Like he
Right.
always says it on Paramount Plus. That
Paramount
qualifier.
Plus.
Yes,
So,
you're right. I do remember seeing that. So maybe they'll do a Prodigy and jump to Netflix.
They got money.
Paramount Plus, the home of some of the Star Trek shows.
Oh my God.
we're
The
gonna pull our
OCD in
resources
me.
and rent the Skywriter to fly over there.
It did. It did.
I know.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my
Because it was
Yes.
funny to me, like to piggyback off of that, it was funny to me how they promoted Paramount Plus using Star Trek as that kind of, that was the thing they got, right? And it's exclusive to us. And then maybe 5 months after the switch from CBS to Paramount Plus, the movies went straight to HBO. And you
Yep.
couldn't even watch them on Paramount Plus. So I'm like, I understand y'all got to make this licensing money, but then don't say that this is exclusive to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't cut your show off for a tax break and let it go to Netflix. Like what are y'all doing?
They were
The
just
most.
betting on all of the Trekkies getting Paramount Plus, so they lured us in with it.
Yeah. And
Like,
they got me.
They
got me.
got
That's
us.
why I have
Right.
it. That's why I have it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's not the only reason I have it. It's one of the reasons. I watch a lot of streaming things, so Paramount has done me well. But
Okay.
I'm a
What's
I'm a drag race
CBS
fan, so
procedural? Drag Race is on there. Yeah.
all
But even
of the
that,
things.
I wish they would be more consistent with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, only
Because sometimes
some
it's
of them.
there. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, but only like the American version of it can be here. Everything else has to be on Wow Presents Plus. So you have to have both of them if you are a universal
I'm like,
watcher of
girl,
drag.
I need a treasure map to find these shows. Like, what the hell?
I got you.
Okay.
I am the treasure map. I'm an only child who was like, ooh, what else can I get into?
For real. Me too. Honestly, that's why I'm such a nerd, because a lot of the time I was like, I had to entertain myself. And I would just get into weird stuff.
Yep.
Well, it's interesting because you made a point earlier about, and we openly deal in gross generalizations here, so we welcome you to do the same. About queer people being more prone to nerdism. And I would love for you to expand on that. Like, tell us how you felt like that relates to you.
I feel like for me, just being, gay, queer, however you want to describe it, I was an only child. And I feel like watching Star Trek and things of that nature, especially Star Trek, I feel really helped me escape my current reality when, I wasn't feeling supported by my family. When my family or mother was kind of like, what's going on with you? These friends of yours are so gay, this and that. And Star Trek was that outlet where I felt, even though there may not have been queer characters explicitly on the show back then, I still felt maybe if I lived in this future that I would be okay and I would be accepted. And it just let me escape my current reality where everybody like didn't understand me and I felt understood. So maybe that is why like a lot of queer people gravitate to it, because it gives a level of escapism that nothing really else does in media. I can't really think of another show or movie that is positive escape,
Yes.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting. You can find yourself in someone or some character no matter what. Like that's what I always taught when I think about Star Trek, about it's not even a utopia that they're creating, because there's still conflict
right.
between characters and different species, but it's more accepting. It's sort of like at a certain point we can somehow come to a common place where I can understand why you are the way you are. You understand why I am the way I am. And we're
Right.
like, cool. It may start off adversarial, but at the end of the day, it's like, oh, this is just who you are. This is just your culture. Let me learn more about it. Great to meet you. Have a good day. And no one is trying to be like, you need to change
Right.
into.
I'm not trying to control you.
No, it's
Right.
just like, this is who we are, and we
Mhm.
can come together to further a mission or,
Exactly.
terraform a planet.
Yeah,
It's a
like put our
bright.
minds together and go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, go ahead.
No, but like put our minds together, collect our resources, our different backgrounds, and achieve a goal that we probably could not achieve if we were trying to do this, as a singular entity.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bright future is what and it's like, our own little It Gets Better project,
Yes.
before
Yes.
that.
So
It
true.
really is.
Yeah,
So
It really
true.
Yeah.
is.
So
Because Star
true.
Trek is also not it's not like Star Wars where it's a long time ago in a galaxy far away. It's not, some alternate, it's like it's like Earth. It's like
Yes.
our future.
Our future.
The way it's
It starts from a
phrased.
place like
Right.
Earth, and then we went
Mhm.
into the stars.
Yeah. It gives
And
you a
then-
roadmap to like, okay, if we can get our shit together, we could end up in a better place.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's the big
Yeah,
if, isn't
well,
it?
That's
Well,
the big if.
and I think it comes back to the IDIC, infinite diversity and infinite combinations, that the beauty of the universe is in all of the possibilities of all of the infinite differences between us.
Yes.
Yep.
And that I feel like queer people embody that more than any other.
So
yes, at our best.
Yes, at our best. Well, true.
best.
Yes,
Yeah.
because there's
Of course.
there is a drive towards uniformity among, especially, well, I mean, I could say this among gay men, especially among gay white men. There is a like, oh, do we all have the same haircut and have the same dangly earring,
The same
and
body.
the same, like, yeah,
Same body, right.
It's a lot, and but that actually, and this is not going to take us too far off topic, I don't think, but I just saw the Jellicle Ball, the new sort of.
We're not talking about that. I'm going to see it Saturday with the old lady, so don't tell me.
Well, I'm not going to
about it.
spoil anything, but what I will say is that it is a celebration of the spectrum of queerness and of gender diversity and of sexual diversity, and it is it's one of those things, like, literally as a Trekkie, I sat there going like, this is like the infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Like, this is like literally kinds of queer people that I think most of the rest of the world is not even imagining. So, so yes, that, and I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
Listen, the old lady loves to go do gay shit with me. It's side note, we used to do mother-daughter trips, not used to, but like when I was younger, because she worked and traveled a lot, we would do these mother-daughter trips so that she could feel like we were bonding. Loved it. It was great. That sounds so like I'm knocking her, but I love them. And one year
doesn't sound like that at all.
No, because I can be very snarky about it.
No,
she was like, let's go to Savannah for like a day trip, and we're gonna go on like the ghost hunting tour. I'm not hunting tour, but like the ghost tour you walk through and they tell you this place is haunted. And we walked by a drag bar where they were outside setting up a grill because they were having a drag show, and it was the home of the Lady Chablis. And she was like,
my God. Yes.
literally, I'm like 22, like I'm not even like dumb old. She's like, let's go. I'm like, you want to go? She's like, yeah. We went to this drag show, and I'm telling you, the dolls put on a show. This one queen was Beyonce, a la Austin Powers.
Yes.
And she was like mind blown. She was like, I can tip, right? 20 up to the stage. Bong. I was like,
go mom.
Okay. Yes. And then she almost got picked up by a full-on dyke, and I was so proud. I couldn't have been more proud. I was like, I'm gonna tell your husband, my father, that you are now coming over to my side of the world.
No!
Like, can I buy you a drink? I was like,
well, yes.
She's trying to pick you up.
Well, yeah.
Yes, get that drink. Vodka cranberry. Good job.
I love that.
That's amazing.
So it's gonna be fun Saturday, but no.
Real quick, what is the Jellicle Ball? I'm not up on that.
Ooh.
So you know Cats, the musical Cats? Okay.
Yes.
And you know that they're all vying to go up and into the sky. So what they
Right.
Yes, I know.
I mean, that's what it is, right?
It is truly like,
which is kind of crazy.
I never really understood that, but
There's some
Mhm.
suicidal
It never
cats.
made sense.
Wow.
Sang the same song over and over again, and then finally
Uh-huh.
she sings it and dies. So what
She
so what they did
ascends.
ascends, correct, to a higher
Put a pin
plane
in
of
that.
being.
Who ascends? We'll come back to that, Mike Jones.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've taken that idea of the Jellicle ball that they have, but they literally they're doing a ball. Like it's a
Okay.
full-on ball. So Rum Tum Tugger, and what are their names?
Mr. Mistopheles.
Mistopheles,
Right,
all
Mr.
of
That's my
them.
favorite.
So if you can imagine like what someone's concept of that person or that cat would be as queer, whether it's non-binary, whether it's trans, whether it's, oh, you are uh you like your leather daddy. So they've taken
Hmm.
all of them and they're actually putting on a ball at the
Yeah, it's full
pack
ball.
center.
It's full
It's
ballroom, and the crowd. I came from work, so I was like in my like sort of business casual, but with shorts, right? I like kind of dressed for theater, I thought, and no,
No.
like these queers came, like the entire audience, like people came in a ballroom look, like in the
Wow.
audience. And to be clear, there's not a single cat in the show. They're not cats. It is literally just
Right.
ballroom,
Okay.
yeah.
and
So and
it just it works. It fixes all of the problem of that show in a way like it suddenly makes sense and is
Okay. I'm
good.
gonna have to look this up.
You should look it
Mhm.
up.
There's
The
some
Jellicle.
videos on YouTube, of like curtain call and stuff.
I've avoided
Um,
every spoiler possible. Like it randomly, like it'll go in my For You page. I'll be like, oh, cute. Okay, moving on. Uh, the old lady's like, hey, should we get dressed? I'm like, yup.
Yep.
I was
Oh yeah,
like, go
you
ahead,
gotta,
go in your little closet and get out
yeah,
your whatever you're gonna
gotta
wear, and we're gonna
show
be
up.
cute. Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I'm excited for you. I'm gonna have to look this up. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Miss Jellicle Ball. Yeah.
I
Um.
have a oh,
Oh
Damon's
no,
not
it's
Matt.
you.
No,
No,
okay.
it's
go.
you. No.
Okay. Just because like we've talked a lot about track and like your styling of this wig. Like, how did you get into? I don't think we like have really talked about
Hmm.
like your background, your bio. Like, how
Yeah.
did you get into
Into hair.
wigs and makeup and all of the things?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I really got into this because of my drag mom, and I'm gonna have to name drop. I'm sorry.
Oh, name
Do
drop. Name
drop,
drop.
drop,
Please.
drop, drop.
But the fact of the matter is that I've known Kimora Hall from Drag Race since before she was on Drag Race. And I started doing drag, and we randomly met at a party, and she just kind of like, her and a friend just kind of like did me up one day after they met me at this party, and were like, we see something in you. We want to like help you along on your makeup journey, right? And she saw that I had like a natural knack for hair. And
Mm,
so I started doing things here and there for her hair wise. And then I started to realize, oh, I kind of like this. And I've always been interested in hair, but never really considered it. And I wish I would have much sooner. So I went to beauty school,
yes.
took a year and a half because I did part-time. And I actually, because of beauty school, got out of doing drag, like performing and stuff like that, because I just couldn't afford to do it the way I
Mm.
wanted to, didn't have the time because I was also working at a salon as an assistant. And then like once I graduated, I knew I didn't really want to work in a salon. Like I knew that wasn't the track that I wanted to put myself on. I knew I wanted to like just test out this theater world, see what I could do in that because wigs were really what I was interested in. And I really just went to beauty school so I could get the credentials, more
Mm-hmm.
training, etc. And I got really lucky because one of the managers at the salon, her client for like 30 years was a retired opera singer. And my boss graciously told her that I was interested in theater and opera. And she was like, well, I don't know if anything will come for this, but like, send me your resume. Here's my
Love
email.
it.
I'll pass it on. And did that. Months go by, summer goes by. And it's not until like maybe like August, September, I get this random phone call from the opera and was like, hey, got your resume. Well, can you do this kind of styling? Can you do that? Some of it I was like, uh-huh. And some of it I was like, yeah, I could do that. But like, sometimes you gotta just fake it till you make it to get yourself in the door.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So, and that's how that journey started. And now, I work there. And I also still do a lot of hair for Miss Hall. So yeah, and that's kind of how it started, and that's where I am now.
That's awesome. No,
Awesome.
I love that it's the connections, right? It's like
Hmm.
someone like you doing the right thing to go and get the actual paperwork
Right.
that says, listen, I know I could just ad hoc it, I could learn
Right.
on my own, and you have something to fall back on. And not
Exactly.
fall back on, but like, oh, if you wanted to go work in
Hey,
a
we know in
salon,
our industry,
you
sometimes you gotta fall back.
Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
go forward again. So the
Hmm.
fact that you
Hmm.
have actual credentials to be able to go do work in a salon in
Right.
times when it's possibly slow at the thing that you really want to do, and it
Hmm.
legitimizes you as
Hmm.
someone who knows what they're doing. You're not gonna
Exactly. That's the
burn up
biggest
this wig.
piece for me. It was like I
Hmm.
just want to be taken seriously.
That's
Because
awesome.
sometimes for people it's that piece of paper,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know. Even though in the opera, you don't even have to be a licensed anything to work there. But on like movie sets, TV sets, you do.
Mm.
Hmm.
So, but I definitely learned very quickly that's not my gig. TV was not for me, girl. I was like, I hate it here.
Oh, really?
What's so
Yes.
different about it?
Oh, it's vastly different. A lot of people will tell you who have worked in TV and film just because the hours are so extremely long and tiring that a lot of people are just not nice.
Mm.
And I'm not the kind of person that if you keep saying crazy stuff to me out the side of your mouth, I'm gonna eventually pop off on
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
Hmm.
because it's
Because
a
you're not gonna
respect.
talk to me any type of way.
Exactly. It's a respect
Hmm.
thing for me. I'm very much like I respect authority, you're my boss, etc. But if you're talking to me all kinds of crazy, then what are we doing here? It's just not necessary. I feel like if you want to relay some instructions to me, do that. But you don't have to call me out my name, you don't have to insult me, etc. So it was one of those situations where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to where I'm where I'm okay.
Hmm.
Well, and there's
Also,
something about theater, I think, because I think we all can attest to this being this is a full house of theater folk
mhm.
that to endure some of the kookiness of it all, you kind of have to love it. And so
Yes.
Yeah.
you're
Right.
more likely to be surrounded by people who love what they're doing.
Yep. And are in good moods, you
Yeah.
know?
And it's
Yeah.
a one-off when someone's like, you're like, oh, okay, bad
Yes,
day. And you can
exactly.
then go have a
Hmm.
conversation like, so,
Are
you
you
know,
okay?
you good?
Right.
Because that was not how
Is your blood
we
sugar low?
communicate. Can I get you a
Did you
Snickers? Because you're
give me
not
a
acting like
Snickers?
yourself.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well,
Did you eat
you know,
today?
I feel like nobody's doing theater for the money, but there
Right.
are people doing film and TV for the money.
Oh,
You
for
know.
sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. And also because you're just there day after day after day. Whereas with theater, you get some days off, they're
Mhm.
random, but you actually get time for yourself. And I also realized just because of the time commitment, sometimes you're there 16, 18 hours a day and then have to be right back at like 7:30. And despite the attitudes, that was secondary for me. I just knew I couldn't, I was starting to become that person. I was
Mm,
starting to become cranky, etc. And it was starting to bleed into me. And I just did not want to be that person. So I was like, you know what? This is not for me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how did it come about that you blended your drag life and your Star Trek fan life? Was that an early natural progression, or
Um, I guess because honestly, I feel like the like Janeway is definitely the thing that really took off for me, obviously.
Mm,
But if you go down like my Instagram, like I've been doing Trek drag for a little bit, for a few years at this point,
yeah,
but just like random spurts. And now I'm trying to get a little more consistency as much as I can handle. Because I've always loved Star Trek and I've never been really like obsessed with just doing drag to do drag. I've always wanted to like blend my love of like nerd culture, my love of my favorite franchises into my drag. That's what really energizes me. That's what really excites me. That's what makes me happy to do it. Because this is a lot of work, you know?
Yes.
And if I'm
No,
not
that looks,
having,
that's like, you just threw that
2 seconds.
together. That
Yeah.
15
Yeah,
minutes, you
right.
good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Lies.
You
No,
know,
because
Absolute
we got an
lies.
email from you being like, my face is on. We're all like, oh shit, I haven't left work yet.
I was upstairs like, oh, I guess I gotta finish these baked beans. Thanks so much.
that wasn't to rush y'all. That was just saying like,
No.
oh my God, I'm on
No.
time.
We weren't rushed. It was just sort of like, huh, someone is prepared.
I'm a
Because
professional woman.
To
yes, you
set an
are.
expectation.
Like, ooh, as I stroll in at 27 after. Hi, y'all. Clicking things in.
No, but you
Um,
look great. But oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I can't not mention the fact that you did this amazing video from well now what is the name? The Beverly Crusher ghost episode, the candle at the ghost
Yes.
episode.
Oh,
Subrosa.
thank you.
Sub
Thank
Rosa, oh my
you.
God, Mike, thank you.
It's my
Um,
favorite laugh riot episode. Like, if I just want to, I put that episode on recently. I had some friends come into town and they had never heard of this concept. Like, Beverly Crusher has sex with a ghost, a candle ghost, right? And I put that episode on and their jaws were on the floor. They could not believe what they were seeing. I was like, yeah, this show
Yeah.
is wild.
Yeah, it
Like,
happened.
it happened. For better or for worse, it happened. It's one of those episodes for me. I don't know. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about it. Some people love it, some people hate it. But I look at it from the campy standpoint,
Oh yeah.
oh
especially as
yeah.
a drag queen, as a gay man, like that hits. That hits. You're getting loved down. I have to choose my words. You're getting loved down by a green
Loved
mist in the
down.
chair. Like
Oh,
she's got a
listen, you can
leg.
say it. You can say it
Oh my
because
God.
we bleeped with it. We had a little we got momentarily removed from the TikTok
We don't know what we're
because
doing. Rolled.
we don't know what we're doing there because Lanita
Well,
is
TikTok is for
basically
Puritans.
Yeah.
and then I went back and bleeped it and then it's fine. It's like,
No, let's say it like this. She was getting her coochie moya licked.
yes.
And they were just like in disbelief, and we were all cracking up because it's crazy. The episode is crazy. But I understand that like it can be viewed as sexist and all of that. Like if you really want to like think about it for more than 10 seconds.
Mm.
And there's like that whole the manipulation part of it, because the ghost does manipulate her. But ultimately she kind of goes along with it because I mean he must have been getting that coochie moya real good. But it's just so fun. Like ultimately it's hilarious. And like I choose to view it as that because it is.
I love the fact that that was your entry. Like when we I don't know what episode we had. We're like, what would be the episode that you introduce people to
Oh,
who've
we've had
never
this
watched it?
question
The
for
fact
years.
that that was yours is wild.
Well, I will be clear.
Wild.
I will be clear. They have seen Star Trek because you know I'm
Oh.
that kind of friend where I'm gonna put a
Okay.
gun to your head and make you watch it if I have control of the TV.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, so like they'll just be
This is
like,
what we're
we'll be
watching.
talking, and then I'll slickly pick up the remote, put it on, and then next thing they know, the episode is 10 minutes in, and they're like, "Girl, what is this?" So
yes.
I'm real slick with it.
Oh, so you are converting people an episode at a time. You come visit me. I have
Mhm.
control.
Yep.
I'm gonna get you. I love that.
Yep. And to
Well,
be
that-
fair, oh, go ahead.
No.
No, to be fair, what?
But to be fair, they had the run of the TV a lot more than the Star Trek that was on. So I was trying to be equitable. But,
Very good. Sharing is caring.
To just expanding on that point, what if you're gonna give someone their first taste of Star Trek and you're gonna try and convert them? What episode are you putting up?
I don't know if I have an episode per se, like right off the top of my head, but I have noticed that if I seriously want to get someone into even remotely thinking that they could get into this, I tend to show them the modern shows, either Strange New Worlds. I feel like Strange New Worlds has a really good is a really good entry point because it's so clean, it's well produced,
Clean.
it's beautifully shot.
Mhm.
I have a lot of mixed feelings, good and bad about Strange New Worlds, but I think it's a really good gateway because sometimes people who have not grown up watching the older shows, even the 90s shows, they see the old camera work, they see the special effects, etc., that we think are so charming and beautiful, etc. They don't see it that way. So I think
Mhm.
Discovery or Strange New Worlds usually works a lot better than any of the older shows.
I don't know.
Mm.
Discovery kind of maybe. I would love for it to be Discovery, but
It's intense.
it's intense and a little heavy, and
Yeah.
I think it's maybe the one that you need the most sort of
Brain
maybe a little
power.
more backstory about Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
That's
would.
true.
I don't, and not backstory, but I feel like they were like, hey, you already know what this is.
Right.
So we're not
Mm.
going to spoon feed you this information
Right.
to sort of get you up to speed. It's like, here we are,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
convict, ship, you running it, you dying, here we
Right.
go,
Yeah.
alien, spore network, what you going
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, yeah, those first couple seasons were in such contrast to what Star Trek had always been. And
Yes.
unless you know what Star Trek always was, you don't know that it's contrast, you know?
That's
correct.
true.
It's like watching the third, fourth, and fifth Harry Potter movies that decided to be
Mm-hmm.
directed by what's his face versus the first ones were like cute and lovely, and then it like
Right.
makes the dark turn, being like
Yeah.
everybody dies.
Yes.
I do I do think that it's Strange New Worlds. That's a really good pick. It is clean. I You're the first one. Like we've never said clean, but that is really what it is. It's very
Mm-hmm.
crisp.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
it's beautifully shot, and it is
Yes.
one where they're not spoon feeding it to you, but it's a slower entry. It's sort of
And
like
it's
it has the feel of TOS, but
yep.
with our
Modern. Yeah.
technology and
Yeah.
look.
And it's also a lot, usually it's a lot more accessible and fun.
Yeah.
Like Strange New Worlds will go there and get intense, but it's very rare. Like usually they're doing some kind of comedy, what have you, and it's very charming and like all of the actors are gorgeous. So, there's the eye
Right.
candy aspect. Also, I found that Lower Decks is a good way to get people into Star Trek because people like to laugh. And even if they may not know the references, like my boyfriend per se, like even though he had been kind of like at this point when Lower Decks came out, watching Star Trek with me because gun to your head, you're gonna watch this. He still was like, "Oh my God, this show is so funny!" Like I kid you not, earlier this summer, that man had me watch that show like probably 5 times, like all the way through within 2 weeks.
Oh
I
my
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
God.
I'm sick of this now. What is happening?
You
So,
just
and
needed a
I,
little break, and you'll come back to it.
yeesh.
Give it 4 months. It is, but it's so good. It's so
Hmm.
funny. And we talked about how the newer Trek is more realized. Every character is more flushed out. Strange New
Hmm.
Worlds does a really good job of flushing people out and you
Yes.
getting their backstory given to
Except for
you. And
Erica.
Oh, Ortegas.
Yeah.
Ortegas.
Oh,
We're
I
still
fly the
holding out for
ship.
her episode. Yeah.
oh, I fly the ship, right?
Oh my
yeah, I
God.
feel
We're
like,
I
holding
feel
yeah,
so
out.
bad
We're
for
holding
her.
out for it.
yeah. Well,
But she can be more than her job, please.
when she finally got to sing a verse in or not fine, I guess, but in the musical episode, her verse was just like, I fly the ship. Like that was her verse. It's like
Yeah.
it's come on, we need something
She's
else.
Yeah.
really good at
She's good at it.
She
Really
is really good
good.
at it. She's doing loop-de-loops with that thing.
it.
You know? I've
Well,
never seen the Enterprise so nimble in my life. I love it.
oh yeah.
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 Do you think that they're going to, just from a marketing or collector standpoint, do you think that at some point they will come out with the tchotchkes that go with each of the series, like the ship that they're on, or the maybe a couple of the alien characters that
Hmm.
you can now have a Funko Pop or a,
Hmm.
you know,
Oh,
action figure,
Hmm.
or I'm just wondering, like, of all of the new stuff, it's like there's so much to be marketed, and
Exactly.
I'm just like,
Where is it?
can I get a
right,
moopsie,
Yeah.
can
right.
can I get, I don't know, a
A
A,
bribble,
bribble,
a morph?
can, oh
rice.
wait, what, Murph?
Murph, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
No, it's
Murph.
okay.
But like,
Yeah. No, he
exactly.
morphs.
Can we get these things? And
I
I
mean,
think
in
that
every iteration.
yeah, and I think that's what we were talking about earlier. That like Paramount has a merchandising problem.
They absolutely
And I
do.
don't. I'm not in the offices, so it's hard to say why.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys saw this, but they finally released Funko Pops for season 3 Picard, and it's
Yeah.
Seven Picard, I think Raffi
And
and
Jack, maybe?
Jack. And
Mm.
a lot of people were upset that Beverly was still Beverly. I guess Beverly in general just doesn't have a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
And also like, why is this coming out now? Like this came out like I saw it on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago, and this show wrapped like a year ago, you know? So it's
Mhm.
like, where is the stuff for Strange New Worlds, like you said? Like, where is the stuff for Lower Decks? You know, and like why is Paramount letting all of these third party cosplay companies put out uniforms instead of them
Mm.
doing it directly? So many people buy uniforms because that's the best part about being a fan is that we get to dress up in these uniforms, you know, and cosplay. And I just feel like Paramount is asleep at the wheel as far as merchandise. You could have a Moopsie, and I think there is one that they finally did put out, but I'm not sure. Don't
Well,
quote
if you
me.
go to conventions, there's all sorts of like
That people probably
vendors
make
doing.
and
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
for
Mhm.
But
sure.
again, it's
Yeah.
probably not official because
No.
they take eons to like work with companies to put stuff out. And I don't understand why. Because we got us as like, you know, fans, especially queer fans, we don't a lot of us don't have kids. So we got that just like
Yes,
expendable
y'all have,
income.
yes, all you gay men who decided not to have children and just have animals. You've got a lot of disposable income. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was a queer who decided to procreate, so my income is tied up in buying wildebeest and lions and llamas and freaking anteaters. That's what I'm doing over here.
You-
Mike Jones is like,
They,
oh, look at my case of
I see it over
amazing.
there. My case is in the
Oh,
back, but I forgot to
Wow.
turn the light on.
He is throwing
well,
swipes left and right.
that is from back when, the Playmates toy company did an action figure for everything in Star Trek. Like, we
Hmm.
were so spoiled, you know. Picard wears a funny costume in one episode. Boom, action figure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it seems like they're not really putting effort into the merchandising,
Yeah.
or it's very slow. And it's just weird because they could be printing money over there, you know, then they wouldn't have to write shows off for a tax credit, you
Well,
know,
and
then
Paramount is clearly in some sort of like transitional place where it may or may not
exactly
exist this time next year, and who knows what
true.
becomes of all of
That's
it.
true.
That would
But
be
Could be
yeah,
so
something
sad
else.
for
Because
me.
the latest I heard was that the Skydance merger was still on the back burner because they were shopping new mergers, like new people to acquire it or merge.
they
It keeps
it's
changing.
happening, and then someone
It's
jumps
happening.
in, and
Okay.
then it's not
Yep.
happening,
It's
and then
all over the
but
place.
I think it is. There was like a one mega billionaire who like threw together a bid that fell apart, and so Skydance is all
Mm,
that's left once again.
okay.
So
Which I didn't know Skydance was that major of a company to,
yeah, who knew?
Right.
yeah.
Who knew?
So I just hope Star Trek survives this merger because I remember when Enterprise ended in the 2000s, Star Trek
Mm.
basically went away.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so that's what worries me is that they may see the expenditure that Star Trek is versus, and that's another thing. If y'all were merchandising right, it would be profitable, a lot more profitable. So they may see that and be like, we're gonna pull back on this for a little bit, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm just a little scared.
Well, and I think that is what I think we can credit Discovery with that in sort of showing that there is an audience for
Yeah.
Star Trek on TV still, and
Yeah, she brought it back.
and it opened the door for Card and Strange New Worlds and Decks and all of these things that have shown, it appears that the future is, I was going to say bright. I should say it appears that there is a future still. There
Yeah.
are all
Yeah.
of these
Yeah.
things in the works.
We got a movie coming up, you know, the streaming
Right?
movie, I should say.
Hmm.
The what
Still a
movie?
movie.
The what is it called? The Michelle Yeoh movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
Section 31.
Section 31, yeah.
Ooh,
Yes.
that one.
And maybe that fourth Kelvin movie, if it ever,
Maybe.
ever gets made. Probably not.
No, it's
I'm-
like Charlie Brown in the football. Like they keep saying it's going to happen.
and they pull it away so quickly
Mhm.
at the last moment.
The cast is going to be 85 by the time they're like, all right, let's go.
It's true. It's true. They're
That's
not
true.
getting any. They're
Yeah.
not getting any younger.
No.
And their last movie was what? How many years ago?
Like, was it
It
2015?
was,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're looking at
15 or 16.
It
Wow.
was, yeah, it's been a minute. Beyond,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Don't quote me.
Well, and it
It's been
changes
a
what the
while.
movie is because all of a sudden we get like
Yeah.
a Star Trek 2 or 3 where it's all about like, I need my readers.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They're doing that bit. Yeah. Then they're talking about how old they're getting and my bionic hip is not working,
Yeah. Yep.
Hilarious.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll see.
I have a random
Yeah.
question. If you could do hair
hmm
wigs for any series,
hmm
which one would it be?
I would say DS9. Like if DS9 was getting made, if I could go back in time and work on that show, I would do DS9 because I feel like DS9 has such a rich bevy of alien characters, guest stars, recurring characters, even the main cast, where like
Who would you change on the main cast?
who would I do or who would
Oh,
No,
she's-
like who
she's
who
fishing.
who I'm asking questions. That's what happens during a conversation in a podcast.
Yeah,
Ask
okay,
questions of our guests. If there was a main character whose hair like that you would do, would you change it, keep it the same? Like how would you
Oh.
update it?
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's an excellent question.
Thank
You
you.
know,
You're
if
welcome.
what I would change, I wouldn't necessarily change it. I would fast forward it to the place I liked it the most, and that would be
Ooh.
Kira.
Mm.
So I liked her little short crop hair, but the hair I liked on her the most was the hair she ended up with at the end of the series, with that kind of like, I think it was like smooth back, but then long bob on the side.
Kind of
Mhm.
asymmetrical.
Yeah, and I think sometimes she had a
TLC look?
braid.
A little TLC
The
situation.
T-bar.
Little T-Boz action, but
Maybe.
more, but fuller.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like that look, especially when she was in the uniform, the
Mhm.
grays, that I was like, oh, she looks so good. Like I would have her in that look the whole series.
Okay.
Also, Kira's hair, the first episode. I don't know if y'all
Oh.
remember that.
Tragic.
Good grief.
Oh no, you can't
Tragic.
forget it.
Good grief.
You can't forget it.
It was like
Burned
It was
a bucket.
Rough.
like a Dilbert character. Like
Yes.
awful.
Yes. But it's so random, and you probably won't know what I'm talking about. There is a random alien with
Mhm.
purple hair, and it was kind of like coiffed in this like soft Marcel wave. And she was doing some dealings with Quark in one episode, and she shows up at least like twice in the episode.
Mhm.
She's like
I remember this.
like a mercenary or something like that, and I was obsessed with her. Also another like there is this black Romulan in TNG, and you know how all the Romulans have that
Yes.
bang wig, the pointy
I
bang
remember
wig,
this.
Mhm.
and this black actor in this wig sends me to hell every time I watch that one episode. I just love it so much. It's just the funny. Look out for that. I forget which episode it is. You could probably Google it. Just Google black Romulan TNG.
Mhm.
I've already done purple hair works with Quark, and I feel
Did
like
you
I
find it?
found her. Is it like all back and it's
Yep.
purple and it comes
And
down
she has
she's
like
got
a beige skin tone or something.
yes, and it's like a very severe brow.
Yes.
Oh.
I love her.
And she almost has like a leaf print here, kind of.
Yes,
Something like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
I love how you went leaf. I was gonna go with chicken foot. It looks like a
Chicken-
bird.
no, you're
has
right.
stepped-
It's a
it looks like a
chicken foot.
bird
It's a
has
chicken foot.
stepped on
Yeah,
her forehead.
you're right.
But those two, for some reason, they stick out in my mind. Like on both ends of the spectrum. Like I love her look, and then he's like, you know what? They put me in this mess. I'm gonna have fun with it.
I'm gonna go with it. Black Romulan.
Do you have a favorite hair look in all of Star Trek? Like,
Ooh,
I mean that was a
yes.
pretty
Yes.
like.
Oh, I love
deep
that. That was
cut.
quick. Yes.
Okay, I have
Yes.
two. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So
okay.
Go for
7
it.
of 9, her standard French twist.
Mm.
It's a simple look, but it is so effective because the aesthetic of 7, everything does a lot of work. and then having the hair off of her, perfect. And then
Mm.
Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham with the braids.
The braids.
The
Which, wait,
braids.
hold on. But wait. Now, question. Which braids? The ones where they're giving us cornrows a la Tyler Perry, or the individual braids that they have then coiffed
I
in a
want to
different way?
say, so I'm thinking of like season 4, season 5, and
Better
kind of
braids.
like how they like, I think in season 5 sometimes they like, because she had a few
Mm-hmm.
wigs in season 5 and
She
not all of
did.
them were good.
They were not.
I feel like the one she had in maybe the first or second episode were really good as far as like how they were applied and blended and all of that, because they were like cornrowed and then kind of like, I remember there was one wig she had where there was two cornrows going straight back and they were kind of like the centerpiece,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything kind of like doing the same on the sides, but then it was loose at a
Mm-hmm.
certain point.
Yes.
The only thing about her wigs is that, and I know braided wigs are really hard to get right and really hard to, because she has, Sonequa changes up her real look all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So trying to like, mask that with it, because, it's hard when you work on hair. The illusion is always hard when you're doing that all the time, for you to not break that illusion for yourself, because you're like, oh, that's a lace. Oh, there's a hairpin. Oh, there's the cap underneath, and like a
Mhm.
layperson, they're gonna be like, that looks good, and I'm like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Like, ooh, they could have done better.
Yeah, but most of the time she looks really good in the braided wigs.
Yeah,
Um,
they worked on it.
Yeah,
Because at first I was
it
like,
was a journey.
it was a journey, and then we finally got to a place. But I think I honestly, like, in my head, I'm like, is it a full wig, or
Hmm.
is it the
Like her hair braided into it.
we do the individuals in the front,
Right.
big in the back, and that is why it looks so
Could
natural,
be.
because
Could be.
the leave out situation of it
Right.
all.
I feel like sometimes they would blend like her edges, and that's
Yes.
when it's the most successful, because you
Mm-hmm.
want to have that little like curl, that little
Yep.
texture in the
Actual baby
front.
hair that's
Yes,
not
to
at your
hide the
not at your
demarcation line of
eyebrow.
the lace.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I feel like when they do it that way, it's the most successful. But
Yeah,
I loved
later hair.
early season 3. There's like the montage showing time passing,
yes.
where her hair keeps changing, and then it
Yeah.
ends
Yes.
with the braids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, she looked really good. Speaking of that, she looked really good with the curly hair, like the big curly. I was like, oh, she's so
Mm.
pretty. But you know why I feel like they didn't keep her in that? One, that's a lot of hair on her, just like in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Michael is a very much like hands-on action hero kind of character,
Correct.
and all of that hair would just get, excuse me, in the way. And I feel like it also made her look so young. She looked
Right,
so young.
right.
So it would kind of like
And
diminish like
she's
visually her
Her
authoritative.
power. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she
Yeah.
looked like a little girl. I was like, who is this young lady?
well, and how about in season 5 when she has that full on fucking fight scene with her past self, and
Oh
you
my
see like
God.
you're like,
Mhm.
oh
Okay,
my
we
god, what
talk
she
about
looked like.
it.
Yes,
Yes, we can.
please,
That was
please.
so awkward for me.
Why? Why?
What was this move where they like hit forearms? I was like, girl.
Oh, right. They're like anticipating each other.
They're
Yeah.
like,
I know what you're
um,
going to
I
do.
know your
You're
moves.
dead.
yes. The face replacement at the very end where they're both on screen and she's kind of like
Mm.
laying her down, like to rest because she knocked her rocks off. Um, she's kind of like, I don't know what CGI or deep fake they did. I was like, baby, y'all should have put that through the computer one more time. Just one more time, please. It looked like her face was levitating on whoever stunt double that was.
Oh no.
Um,
Now I want to go back and watch it,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I
or
could
maybe I
tell
don't.
that it'll stand out. And I love that they tried to recreate her season 1 hair, but you could
Mhm.
tell it was a new wig because it wasn't quite right. And my obsessive self, I'm like, hmm. Also, speaking of her season 1 wig, I forget what episode it is. It might be the time loop one with Mud, but there is one scene, it's real quick in season 1, where her lace tab is just boop, dead in the
Yes.
camera. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
What
because
is that?
I don't know. I'm the one thing I do when we had our hair episode, like I am always, whatever show I watch, if there is a Black person with some
Mm-hmm.
type of hair situation, their hair braids, I'm like, I say to myself, if it's good, okay, there was somebody Black involved in it.
Yeah.
If it's not, I'm like, oh, y'all decided not to actually find somebody who knows what to do with
Mm-hmm.
the hair. And
Yeah.
I feel like that is why it got progressively better, because it was like, she was like, listen, I know
What are
that
y'all
I'm just an
doing?
actor.
Right?
I know that you just hired me, but let's be clear. This
This needs to
hair
be, yeah.
is not what I would have on. Like when they were doing the sort of short, I like her in short hair. I like her with
Mm-hmm.
the I'll call it not the Bobby Brown, because it's not asymmetrical, but it's like the nice little
That Vulcan
pompadour.
press.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The
I
Vulcan press
did
was cute.
it was a very good, cute, but I did like the natural, like high top sort of
Mm-hmm.
fade, sloping on the side, sort of
Mm-hmm.
like faux hawk look.
Yeah.
But it's like that's when you're like, oh, you got somebody who knows what to do, who
Right.
understands how it's supposed to
Exactly.
look, because it's very different than doing a wig on Seven of Nine, a wig
Exactly.
on Janeway.
Exactly.
Like
And
hair
it,
is
like, for
different.
the most part, it looked moisturized.
It did.
But not like greasy, like
Nope.
it looked good.
Football
Like,
sheen.
yes, exactly. Exactly. And the curls were defined.
Correct. They said we got the right mousse,
Yes,
raked it
exactly.
through.
Right. And it's so like, oh, it's like this one drag queen, I forgot who said it. Beauty is measured in like millimeters. And it's like if you move something just
Mm-hmm.
1 millimeter
Mm.
this way or that way, it changes it, good or bad. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I could tell that that wig in that time travel episode where they fight each other, it was a new wig because it was okay. It was okay.
It's okay.
Can I switch series really quick? And I'm purposely provoking another one of our co-hosts here. Um, let's go to the final episode of Star Trek Picard, the bridge of the Enterprise G, Rafi.
Oh, Rafi.
I'm new here, so I'm like, what's the provoke? What's the
That
provoke part?
that hair seemed not regulation.
I'm gonna have to Google this.
Um, it's like
This was
she's fine all through the series, and then in this final scene where 7 to 9 is the captain and she's the first officer, which like would make for great drama in a new
Mhm.
series. Um, girl has some crazy hair going on. Um, but I wonder if that's something that she pushed for, that
Mhm.
Michelle Hurd wanted.
Right.
Um,
I'm trying to find a picture.
I'll find one. Um,
I feel like I blocked the end of Picard out of my mind as much as I could.
oh
You
no.
weren't that wasn't your jam.
Um,
It's
so
okay.
let me be fair and say
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of it was really good. I think where they started to go off the rails for me was around episode 7.
Mm.
Once the big mystery was divulged as being the Borg, and then they were, everybody was getting turned into Borg, and then they had to go get the D out of
Mm-hmm.
mothballs. That was cool, I guess. But then when they showed up to the Borg and it was the Death Star run with the D, that was looking like a video game. I don't know if it was how they rendered it. That took me out. The Borg Queen, like going through all of this effort, but then just letting them in to like foil her made no sense. And then her
mm,
doing the Saturday morning cartoon, no, and then blowing up. I was just like, girl, what happened? And then Seven and Raffi staying on the ship to like their one ship fighting the whole fleet. For what? Y'all should leave too. Like they should have been blown out of the sky. Stuff was not making no sense. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people tote that as like it's a masterpiece, and I'm like, it's as close as Picard as a show is gonna get to a masterpiece, but it's still not good.
That's a hot take. Oh, Mike Jones is
I
showing us the Rafi hair that we.
I put the Rafi hair in. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just in the moment, it took me out of the scene. I was like, why did she totally change her hair? Like, I don't know.
Oh, no, you know what it is? It's
What?
an ode to Deanna Troy.
Ah, it kind of
Is it?
is. It kind of is. There's like
Damien,
a
I think
top
I
knot.
literally blew your mind on that. Think
There's like a
about
top
the
knot and it's coming
before
down.
she's like, we're more relaxed on this show.
Oh, I see it. I like that.
It's
Okay.
no the hair. She
I,
looks stunning,
yeah. It's a lot of hair,
it's in
but
But
yeah,
think about Starfleet. Like that's the in Starfleet,
yeah,
their
it's
their
not
regulations. Like
controlled.
yeah,
Yeah,
We have big hair.
yeah.
Big hair don't
Yeah, it's a
care.
little casual, but
Casual. That's the
yeah.
word.
But I love
Okay.
a half up, half down. So
If we're talking big hair, I have to bring this up. And I know that TOS is not really your bag,
hmm
but um those beehives, those like
the wicker
Nichelle
basket.
Nichols and her, oh right, Janice Rand and her wicker basket
Oh
wig
my God.
that somebody stole, apparently.
Someone stole that?
Yeah, somebody stole. According, she would say, tell the story at conventions that someone stole that wig,
Oh
and
my
she
God.
it was never seen again. Um, but they did some crazy. It's the '60s, and hey,
hmm
mama, it's the welcome to the '60s
hmm
hair
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah, I
that show.
remember the little bit of TOS that I have sat down and watched. I remember seeing Nurse Chapel. She always had interesting hair. It
Yeah.
was always like this
Hmm.
like weird white gray big cloud. And I was
Yes.
like, what is this?
Why the
Like
gray?
I have to give it to the girls who the girls and the gays or guys who were working in the hair department on that show back in the day. They were doing it because
Aquanet was flowing.
some of the stuff was real wiggy. You'd be like, girl, that's a synthetic wig. Because like specifically Janice Rand, if you look at
Oh
like
yeah.
her little ends, they
Oh
would look
yeah.
like
They
like broom
did.
bristles. I'm like, girl, are you taking this wig off and sweeping the set too? Um, but style wise, they would do some interesting things, like really beautiful updos, really
Mhm.
beautiful, like especially if there were like random uh eye candy women coming
Mm-hmm.
onto the ship. They would always I love the way they would shoot women back in the day. And I want to be lit like that myself, but I can't. Just like very soft lighting.
Glow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm like, could you imagine just someone comes into the room and you're like, who is lighting this bitch?
Yes. I mean, look at Mirror Mirror, Kirk's girlfriend in that episode. Like
Oh,
that
in
Oh,
the
is go back to
blue.
that
In the
episode.
blue,
Oh,
yeah.
and the
Oh, she
big.
had a half up, half down too. It was
Oh yeah.
gorgeous.
hmm.
So I have seen, I see,
I've seen the
a
highlights.
little bit,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay. One of the people here have not seen a series as well, so that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay, I'm with my
Don't
people.
don't feel guilty for not seeing
I'm gonna get
Oh.
things. It's
flamed
okay.
on Twitter.
No,
Ah!
I don't know why. Listen, not everybody likes every series, like because there are
True.
those diehards who are like, there's only the '90s versions, and these new
Right.
versions are
Yes,
not the
they hate
versions
it.
of
Yeah,
hate.
even though they're
No,
watching
it's
it.
they're hate
Right.
watching. Listen, build up the
hmm
numbers. That's fine.
hmm
Right.
Let us get more.
Right.
I have a hard time with Enterprise. That's what she's alluding to the fact that
Yes.
He's
You
outing
I have
know
a
himself.
what?
gap. I'm
You know
outing
what?
myself.
You know what? I understand.
She's
I
talking in coded
understand.
language in front of you. I may
I
as well explain.
understand. But Enterprise also has a special place in my heart. It's the one I will turn on the least,
Hmm.
just because, there's Voyager and DS9 sitting right
There are
there and
others.
TNG. But there's been a little period this summer where I would go to it because I don't watch it that much. And I'm like, oh, this is almost like fresh and new to me. And I'm like, wait, I don't even remember this because I watched it when it aired because I'm of a certain
Mhm.
age, um, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of good. Like some of the stuff, I'm like, oh, y'all real wacky with this, like that Borg episode they did.
Oh yeah.
But and T'Pol, that's my girl. That I want to do T'Pol. So you may see that sooner or later
Ooh.
because
Here for it.
Yeah.
We will support you
I got
100.
a human hair wig just earmarked for her.
Oh, I love this.
Excellent.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mike, what do you say we do some rapid fire?
Yeah.
I feel like she's well equipped for some hot takes here.
Uh-oh.
I've been quietly going down, like Googling wig pictures, pretending that we're a visual media. But okay, yeah, let's do some rapid fire. Okay, what do we got?
Wait, can we do one thing before we start rapid fire?
Yeah.
Okay, because I love this question, and I feel like because
It's not
of
really
your-
rapid fire. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, but we do have rapid, but this is in the upper section. If you could have dinner with 3 characters, not the actors, who would they be and why?
I feel like I have to say Janeway. Janeway because I love her, obviously. And I just feel like she would impart some wisdom that no one else could. I would have to say Spock because I'm just in love with that character in all ways.
Mhm.
But wait, which Spock?
Oh,
Oh, it's gotta be Ethan Peck Spock.
hell yeah,
Right.
Ethan Peck.
Leonard Spock is right behind him because
with
before,
Ethan's
before
pecs.
Ethan, Jesus Christ.
We did the
Yeah,
same.
Ethan's
Sorry.
pecs, yes. Before Ethan came on
We're
the
like
scene,
9
I was
years old.
child, very, very juvenile. But yeah, before he came on the scene, I was very much like enamored with Leonard too. So
Oh yeah.
I'll take either one of them. Zachary is cool too, but you know, it's Ethan down over here. Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay, you got one more seat at the table.
One more. I would say Beverly. No, I take that back. Beverly would be a close, but she had to sit out to the side. I'm sorry. Bashir. He's another crush.
Damien is
Oh.
you just won Damien's heart. That's it.
I'm a Bashir man. This happened to me at later
my
in
God.
life. I don't know what it was. I appreciate a character that starts off one thing and grows
Yup,
into
and
another
grows,
in a way
yeah.
that is believable. And
Exactly, because
Yeah.
he starts off kind of annoying, and that was by design, and he becomes a character that just is a lot more important than you would have. You know, the doctor character normally, depending on what show, doesn't have that much richness to it because they're almost kind of like a plot device, a plot vehicle. Okay, I found a way to, you know, cure the disease. That's it. I'm gone now. I'm out the scene. But Bashir really had a lot of good stories, especially later on, and he's hot. I actually met him at Star Trek missions. I was like, you know what? I'm a spring for this little photo op. And that man, like, I was in drag too. I will show you the photo. Wait, hold on. Maybe I can take it off the wall.
Yes.
yes, shit is coming off the walls.
Oh, the glare.
Tip it
there
down.
we go.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh my
That's my
God.
boyfriend.
I love it.
Oh
And
my
he-
God.
You
Everything
look
about
amazing.
Thank you. And he spoke to me in that British accent, and I lost all control of my mouth, my brain to mouth connection. My boyfriend had to do all this talking because I was like, thank you. He was like, you look fabulous. I was like,
Do you know that he's a prince? He's an actual
is
prince.
he?
What?
Yes.
What are
Yes,
you
he's
talking
from
about?
Sudan. He's a prince. He's like the
Okay.
younger, like if he was like the older brother, he would have inherited the crown. He's a fucking prince. You can look it up.
Wow.
Baby, take me
Wow.
to the kingdom.
Mhm. Oh my Lord.
Shoot.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's awesome. All right, here we go.
All right,
Mike
here
Jones.
are some questions.
Okay.
If you had a replicator sitting next to you right now, what would you order?
Coffee. Black.
Nice. What would your go-to holodeck program be, and would it involve Bashir? No, I added that.
Well, now, yes.
Rhyme
And
song?
Ethan's on the other side.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Her holodeck program is Risa with
Respectfully,
Bashir.
respectfully. We're having tea.
oh yes.
That
Mhm.
tea and crumpets,
Yeah, spill that
Yeah.
tea.
little clotted
Mhm.
cream.
Yeah, cream.
All right, Crusher or Pulaski?
Crusher.
Mm-hmm. Are you taking Worf's Klingon Tai Chi class, or are you doing leotard yoga with Beverly and Deanna?
Oh, definitely the leotard. I'm too soft for all of that other stuff. Mm-mm.
Who is your bartender, Guinan or Quark?
Guinan.
Mm. No, I'd like yes. Correct
Yes,
answer.
correct.
Mhm.
That is it. And it's like we're like there aren't any correct answers. We're like,
But you got
correct
it right.
answer.
Yeah.
One, because Guinan is the shit, and
Yes.
also
Absolutely.
it's free.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Right. Quark is gonna upcharge
You
you.
charge me.
Uh, what is your favorite thing in Counselor Troy's closet?
That blue dress with the
Oh
slit
yes,
and the
blue
matching
dress.
leggings and the heels.
And
It's
the
all
Yes.
monochromatic. It's all one color.
It is.
I just love the way she would walk in that. Like I could tell she was having fun in that dress because it
She
would
was feeling
flow.
cunt. She
Yeah,
felt real
yes,
cunt.
thank you. Okay.
She did.
I was
She
gonna
said,
say it, but I'm glad
and
you
you
said
should
it.
have. No, you should have,
Yes.
because she did. She was like, she put that on and said,
Yes.
"Oh yes, this is me today."
Because that's
That was
how
true.
I like to even when I'm at work, I just like to feel good about myself. And I'm one of those people that if you tell me I look good, I'm like, oh, thanks.
It changes the entire. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, I knew I looked good, but
I know
somebody
I
else
look good, but
noticed.
I'm glad you see it too.
That's amazing. Even the way she would sit on the bridge in that dress, because she would cross
Yes.
her legs so the
Mhm.
slit would. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
She
Just
knew what she
working
was
it.
doing.
What is your favorite Beverly look? She evolved.
I would say the season 7 hair. Like if we're
Mhm.
talking about hair and like makeup aesthetics, I think they finally got her hair to a place because it was, towards the end of the series, the
Mhm.
90s had progressed, so it was a little more modern. I think somebody could actually rock that haircut now and nobody would look at them and be like, that's dated.
Mm.
Nice. Voyager 7 of 9 or Picard 7 of 9?
Oh, that's hard. Voyager.
Okay. What's your favorite thing in her closet? This isn't on the list, but I'm
Oh,
adding it.
yes. Seven's blue leotard, the
Oh, the
blue one
blue.
specifically. Because I look good in blue and I think she looks great in blue. So
Absolutely. Um, okay, Damien put this on here. Favorite LaForge sister, Sydney or Alondra?
who was the pilot?
Sydney.
I had to
Sydney,
look
yeah.
at Damien because I don't remember. I need
I
to
thought it
watch
was
Picard
Sydney.
season 3 again. Great, Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Great, Sydney.
Excellent.
Excellent. That works.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, if you were alive in the 21st century, what would your life be like? Like, would you join Starfleet? Would you go to Risa?
You know what? I probably would not join Starfleet just for the simple fact, if you have watched this show, these people get into mortal danger every day and then be back at the job, no therapy, no time off.
They do have therapy. Hello.
They
There's-
have it, but have any of them used it? Troy's
No.
schedule is probably wide open.
It really is. Nobody wants to talk to her.
Right?
Because they're like,
Exactly.
she can read my mind. So why am I
Yeah,
going? Because I
exactly.
can't
That's why they all
lie.
talk to Guinan. Because
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I probably would be going to Risa every 6 months. I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna go in space, it's for a purpose, not to die. Y'all getting
Right.
assimilated out here and everything.
Risa, the Fire Island of Star Trek.
Jamaharan.
Right.
And you
Oh
know what?
my
It's
God.
kind of wild to really think about it logically, that they, aside from the episodes where they're just discovering, like, oh, new moon here,
Mhm.
first contact there, it really is we almost die every day or every week.
Yeah.
And guess what? Next week, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Right on the and it's like nobody really sleeps. Like, we know that they have to sleep, but I love that we only get to watch the waking hours. Like, it's
Yep.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
really logically think about this because you never see the B shift, right? Like,
Mhm.
you never get the night shift or
Everything happens during Alpha Shift.
Yep.
yes.
Harry
and
Kim
even
plays the clarinet overnight.
over the speakers. And if you're Bashir, you're getting woken up in the middle of the night with spy junk. So,
Yes.
you really
Garrick's
can't sleep.
like, hey,
Uh-huh.
I've had a
like
thought.
I need you to look at this thing in my brain and hold my hand. But we're not gay.
Garrick is our gay of
Absolutely. Get mad
love
about
him.
it.
Yes. The only Kardashian I
love it.
actually like.
Right? I mean, right answer.
Well, yeah,
Right.
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And even that is like,
Exactly.
right? We can't think about Garrick for more than 10 seconds because it's like, he did some things. He did some things.
He
He
yeah,
did.
yeah. He has some skeletons in that closet that he came out of.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Anna_Rozay. And basically just Google my name and all of my other socials should come up. I'm on YouTube and I'm trying to get that going. And I also want to say thank you guys so much. I have had so much fun talking to you guys. You guys are my people. You're theater people. You're nerds. I really have enjoyed my time. So thank you
Come
so much
back
for having me. I
anytime.
would
You
come
can come back
anytime.
anytime.
Yeah.
Listen,
Guest chair
Time.
is
you pick a
open.
topic, we
Totally.
are in. And I just want to clarify, it's Rozay, ROZAY.
Yep.
Let's look, because I don't want anybody searching
Yep.
for the beverage and
Right.
missing you.
Okay.
Like, let's Anna,
Mhm.
2 N's.
Yep.
You need to find this face, this person
Absolutely.
on the interwebs.
Thank you so much.
And at some point we will be doing the one with the whales, Lanita's first time
Oh
watching
my
it.
God.
And we're gonna be
Yes.
doing a thing of it. So come back and join. And
I would love
also
to.
we're gonna have Janeway Queen mega panel
Mhm.
at some point. At
All
some
right.
point, we're gonna have like you know
Yes.
as many squares as we can fit.
Are we
in
going to
the
be
Zoom,
mud
all the queens.
wrestling?
As many Janeway.
Well, we're gonna try and lure Kate. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Ooh,
Yes,
I
you'll all
would
be-
pass away.
You won't. No, don't worry. We'll just have a nice little defibrillator. We'll make sure that your boyfriend knows. Just be on
Yes, just be on
standby.
Yeah,
standby.
standby.
He,
Yeah,
his
standby. She
soul
might
might is his
show up.
body.
I'm like,
Correct.
is she on Cameo? Because
Because that's the quickest way. Be like,
that's
Right.
the most guaranteed way.
Mhm.
That's
we
how we
have
got.
to know. We have to know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
Who
Like,
knows somebody?
We have to. She
Well,
does
we did-
theater. She does
We
theater
did
in
ride
New
that
York.
elevator with Robert Picardo.
We did
We
once.
We did.
I don't
We
think
went a
that
lot
counts.
of floors down to the lobby. Yeah,
We're gonna figure it out.
we're gonna
We
figure
know
it out.
some people who are in Orange is the New Black, right?
Oh, all right.
Like, there's a couple actors, but I mean, it's like, they don't know who I am.
You
Doesn't
never know.
matter. That you.
I was the
There it is.
ASM on the show you did in 2003. Right.
As
Girl.
always, listener, check your time marker before you think we're almost done.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay. Message
We're sorry,
heard.
Mike Jones. We're sorry, Mike Jones.
No, I'm doing it too. We're all doing it. We're all guilty.
Thank you for being here, and yes, please come back. Thank you all for listening. If you have enjoyed today's episode, leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. You can find us on the socials at Hailing Freak Open. That's FREQ, just to get the spelling in there. And I guess with that, I will say Hailing Frequencies closed.